In this video, I'm going to talk about the worst type of women and the types of women that I avoid. Sharp Game here, coming at you with another video from ChooseYourRelationships.com, author of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. So, question is, we talk about a lot of stuff that women do and don't, pros and cons, but you never really talk about types of women that you avoid in your personal life. Yeah, I don't really talk about my personal life that much. I don't talk about a lot about women very much at all, really, because I look at it like this: the better I can become as a man, as a person, as you should, better off I'll be. So that's how I always look at it. The more I can build myself, the more I'll be able to combat, stand up, outthink, outmaneuver, navigate around all these vicious people in society. That's how I look at it. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. So I would highly recommend you take on that same mindset as well. So okay, so the types of women I avoid, which is the worst type of women, in my opinion, is the educated, church-going women. Now, all educated women don't go to church, but there's a lot of them in there. It's probably the majority up in the church, now that I think about it. Now, these women, we all know women that's like this. You might have got some in your family. Might be your brother, your mom, your cousin, somebody. There's some highly educated woman in your family that just thinks she's just a little bit better than the rest of y'all. For whatever, because she bought a bunch of stuff. And she got a couple more dollars in her bank account than the rest of y'all. So she thinks she's better than y'all. But if you really take a look at her life, everything usually falls apart. Because they look at her kids. Most of them didn't turn out that well. On the surface, it might look like it. But in reality, no. And it's going to show. You have to give it time. It's going to show in the future what type of kids she raised. And then when they don't turn out the way she would like, she justifies why it's not her fault. It's always somebody else's fault. It's pretty common. And these types, they're teachers too. They educate your kids at school. Yeah. And if your kids have any problems at school, and if your son comes home and says, hey, the teacher did this and did that, and if you call her or go see her and say, hey, my son said you did this and did that, is it really true? She'll lie. She'll swear that it didn't happen like that. And it's always the little boys. It's almost never the girls. Majority of the time, it's the little boys. Because they really don't like they don't like boys. They don't like teenagers. They despise them. That's the truth. And see, a lot of these women don't get called out in society. They get rewarded, to be honest. And these women, they want to be included. They want to be a part of the system. Doesn't matter how bad things may be. Doesn't matter how many reports she hears about. Doesn't matter what's going on in her family or even outside the family. For whatever reason, she's going to justify and say, hey, it's not that bad. I don't have any problem with my kids. But in reality, and most of the time, her kids don't even like her. Her husband don't even like her. And these types of women, divorce is always an option. Divorce is always an option. Nothing is off the table. These types look at it like it's okay to be without a man. You don't need a man. I'm independent. These are the types that I'm talking about. The types that you know, they got that feminist mindset, like it's okay to be without a man. You don't need them. You know, these are the types that buy toys. They think that the toys is going to replace the man. These are the types that think they can raise kids by themselves. They can raise a whole family by themselves. And it doesn't work. And by the time she figures it out, she's already old now. She's late 50s, 60s, 70 years old. And then she's going to look around and all the kids is turned out to be everything but what she wanted them to be. And then she's going to try to blame somebody else because you raised the monsters and the monsters didn't turn out the way you would like. These are the type of women I'm talking about. These type of women that go to church, give the pastor their money, and the pastor can do no wrong. You know, do no wrong. You know, doesn't matter what the pastor say and do. Doesn't matter what claims somebody made about the pastor. As long as she likes the pastor, it's all good. You know, and these types, they think they know everything. They wrote the book. It was written, just like Nas said. They think they know everything. You can't tell them anything. You can't talk to them. I mean, they're basically self-destruct in the long run. The majority of these women, in the long run, they self-destruct. These are the worst women to be around. They're so toxic. They've been they basically went to college and been indoctrinated. You know, they've been brainwashed, highly programmed. You know, you can't really, for whatever reason, you can't get through to these types of women. And these women make pretty good salaries. They work at these companies where it could be a call center, where you call up, or it could be some type of service business or software company, something like that. These are women that you talk to on the telephone most of the time. And it's bad service. If you get bad service, 9 times out of 10, it's a woman that's highly educated. But she got all this education, but she don't have no people skills. She don't have no common sense. You know, it's like if anything outside of formal education to her is crap. Doesn't make sense. So somebody like me that learned most of my history outside of institution, formal education, she would say that that's a bunch of crap. Or if I told her, hey, I wrote a couple books, she'd that's a bunch of crap. She would spit on it and downplay it without even reading it, without even knowing the title of it. I mean, these types would never buy any of my books. Never, regardless of the topic. You know, they kind of like, if you don't sign some type of major deal, or if you don't have some Caucasian person co-signing it, it doesn't matter. It's just crap. You're just playing around. You're crap. You know, as a matter of fact, some of these same people, early on in the beginning, this is years ago, probably like 5, 6, 7 years ago, told me that no one would ever listen to anything I had to say online. And no one would ever buy anything that I publish. And I've proven them all wrong. So these are the types of women that are out here. These are the types that work for TheRoot.com. They're online talking about they write blog articles about 7 ways to attract a white man. These are the types. These are the educated types I'm talking about. You know, these are the types that are, in my opinion, these women are traitors. You know, they're kind of they'll throw you under the bus with no uh, a logical and practical reason of even doing it. And you might be a nice guy. You might have good intentions, but they don't care because they're always looking for to get brownie points from somebody within the dominant society. These are the types I'm talking about. You know, and a lot of these guys get married to these women, and they find out that these women turn their lives into a living hell. You know, and a lot of guys, well, these women usually end up getting a divorce from them. These women usually end up leaving. And these are the types of women that will leave with another guy and leave their kids behind, and then turn around and justify why they did it. They'll say, well, they didn't want to stay with me anyway, so I just decided to just move on. But in reality, she moved on with another man because she was looking at the bottom line, the money. And see, these types of women, for the most part, they're motivated by money. Now, on the surface, the way they go about presenting themselves, it seems like they're motivated by, you know, they care about the family, they care about the grandkids if they got them. But in reality, they don't care about them kids. They don't care about their grandkids either. They see them when they see them, but they don't really care about them. They might even babysit them, but they really don't care about them. Because if they would have cared about the grandkids so much, she would have never left her kids behind from the get-go. So she don't really care about the kids. At the end of the day, it's all about the money for her. It's all about the bottom line. And these are the types that if you take their house from them, take their money from them, oh my gosh, they might pass out, go into a state of depression. As a matter of fact, there's a woman, somebody sent me a video of this woman. I think she's a public speaker, some type of celebrity. Somebody sent me a video of her about, I want to say 3 months ago. And the video went viral. She was basically saying in the video someone stole her identity. You know, she said somebody called her from Facebook, and she had to have given them her information. She said they called her up, and they wanted her to buy some type of software for Facebook. And you know how stupid you got to be to fall for something like that? Facebook don't sell software. They're not going to call you up on the phone for no software. Facebook don't do that. I don't know a lot of companies, I don't know any company that's going to call you up and want you to buy no software over the telephone. But she fell for the okie doke. She gave them her checking account number and the routing number, and they took all the money out of her bank account. And she was on the internet crying in a video talking about she don't know what she gonna do. She don't know what I don't know what I'm gonna do. They took all my money. I'm like, look, lady, the bank has insurance. Just call the bank, tell them what happened. And I wrote this below the video. I said, hey, the bank is insured. Call the bank, tell them what happened, and they'll tell you to sign out a claim form, and they'll give you your money back in a couple days. That's all. You know, they're not gonna they're gonna give you your money back. So, but she was so, you know, she broke down basically, because if you take their money from them and that house, oh man, you know, she might go and fall into a state of depression. She won't know what to do. Because these types of women, they don't have a lot of common sense. They don't. They just like stuff. It looks like they got it all together, but they don't. These types of women, if you get involved with them, they'll ruin your life. They'll ruin your life. And a lot of these women tend to be very cold and heartless. And, you know, always trying. They're always looking to get brownie points and kiss butt. They go to work that job like, you know, you gotta kill them for them to quit that job. So these type of women tend to be heartless, no compassion, no empathy. Of course, they're very biased. They have empathy and compassion for certain people, but most of the time it's just an act. You know, these are types that they love Hillary Clinton. They love her. Think she's a boss. You know, they love Barack Obama. They think he's the greatest. Even though if you tell them some of the stuff that the Clintons and President Obama did that, you know, didn't benefit her and didn't benefit the working class, they're not trying to hear any of that. Because for them, it's all about show. It's all about showcasing on the surface level. It's not about substance at all. You know, substance, that's like, so be it for them. They don't really care about that. You know, it's crazy. Yeah. And some of these women, I think, have some type of, I would say, psychological problems. I think a lot of them tend to like being screwed over and mistreated. So, hey, man, these are the types that I avoid. A lot of these women go to church, too. A lot of them go to church every Sunday. They love the pastor. Pastor take their money and tell them what they want to hear. But they don't really want to hear the real deal. They don't really want the pastor to tell them how awful they are. But a lot of these women are awful. And a lot of these women need to be called out. But they usually don't get called out. You know, they usually don't. You know, and when they do get called out, oh man, they might flip out or go into a state of depression, or they'll just get away from you. That's what usually happens. You know, but hey, man. But a lot of these guys don't call them out because they'll be like, oh, you can't do that, man. Gotta make her happy. Happy wife, happy life. And he's just doing all that. Keep lying to the woman so he can get something like. So man, so that's what it is, man. These are the types of women that I avoid. You might have heard me say before, some of the worst type of women are in that church, man. It is. You know, it's they in that church. The church and the clubs, I avoid. I don't take these women serious at all. I'm not friends with no woman that's in the church and in the club. We don't hang out. We don't associate. I don't want to be involved with none of these people. Hypocrites. I don't like being around. You know, I'm a creative type. These types of women, they're not creative. They just been trained to be employees, to be one way, straight and narrow. That's it. And when it comes to being creative and me just talking to them, I can't talk to these people. They don't got no common sense. So hey man, that's all I got in this video. So you tell me, what are some women that you avoid? You know. So hey, if you like this video, subscribe, share it, give me a thumbs up. Check out my website, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.